And I'm going to now pass off to Josh Cahill, who will moderate while we fill you in a little bit more about the LSII efforts at APL, as well as LSIC and what we've been doing over the past year. So.
Thanks, Rachel. We're going to be turning a little bit inward here to take a look and have APL members of APL's team give us kind of an overview of their role in the larger LSII, or Lunar Surface Innovation Initiative. First, we have Dr. Ben Bussey. He is the lead LSII person at APL. He's going to be followed by Dr. Karen Stockstill-Cahill, who is recently become the lead for Lunar Simulants, their development and evaluation. So now if I can turn it over to Dr. Bussey.
Yes, good morning.
Great, take it away then.
Great, thank you. Yes, great, thank you, Josh. And thank you, Jim. Next slide, please. So I'm going to be talking briefly, as Josh said, about LSII and specifically sort of APL's, how APL is helping. So as we just heard, LSII, the goal is to help develop transformative capabilities for lunar surface exploration. This includes technology maturation activities across the entire TRL pipeline for all of space tech programs. As you'll hear a lot, leveraging innovative collaborations. And so this is helping collaborations between industry, NASA, academia, nonprofits, and other government agencies to help expedite technology development. And also utilizing early uncrewed missions to the surface, particularly the CLIPS landing, the CLIPS deliveries, to help accelerate and enable key technology development. Next slide. Great. So as we heard, space tech, as Jim explained, space tech has sort of split all activities under LSII into 6 areas: extreme access, excavation and construction, dust mitigation, surface power, and extreme environment. And it's no surprise that these are the 6 sort of titles for the focus group areas within LSIC, and you'll be hearing updates on all of those later on today. So one of the key APL roles is helping NASA with the systems integration side of this. So many of the activities that you're involved in overlap more than one of these capability areas. So part of our goal is to help these activities particularly involve more than one. Next slide. So Jim touched upon this, and I don't want to go into any of the details, but I think the key exciting takeaway from this is, the CLIPS deliveries are scheduled to start later on this year, and then we really are going to start to see an incredibly regular cadence of small landers going to the lunar surface, and that does provide and will provide an amazing opportunity from the perspective of technology demonstration. So as you have here, you can see that all 6 of the capability areas have planned deliveries to improve the technology in their area. But I think for the audience as well, that realizing that as part of your technology development plans, you can incorporate into that plan the ability to test some part of your technology on the lunar surface is a game-changing scenario from a technology demonstration perspective. Next slide. So a little more on the Applied Physics Lab's role. We are the LSII integrator for NASA. Obviously, the setting up of the consortium was a key fundamental task as part of this. But we're essentially doing a technical direction agent, what's called a TDA role. My remaining couple of slides, I'm going to talk about the systems integrator role, because that's an equally important task that we are doing for NASA. And people ask, what is systems integration? And we say, oh, it's where you integrate systems. And that really isn't a big enough answer. So I'll be going to that in more detail. We are an independent evaluator for NASA. And so that the idea here is that when our perspective is asked, we have a total neutral, a neutral response to try and give the best advice possible. And community liaison is a very vital part of this. And obviously LSIC is the front face of that. And Jim just had a question about how and there were other questions that we didn't get. I can look that there wasn't time to get to about how small businesses can help the team. And the community liaison is a vital part of what we're trying to do. In that, we're trying to help you build the teams that you need to do in order to propose to the exciting solicitations that you just heard about. But I think the best way I try and describe this role is I see part of our task is to ensure that NASA Space Tech gets the best possible proposals that it can. And that includes with the solicitations itself, making sure that the community is aware what solicitations are coming and provide a conduit to feedback, as well as helping you build the teams that you need to produce the best possible proposals. Next slide, please. So on to the system integrator tasks that we are doing for Space Tech. So I have two slides on this. This one really describes this task from a how do we help NASA perspective. So each of the 6 focus groups also have a systems integrator task role. And within those 6 capability areas, we intend to review expected needs and opportunities to test technology on the lunar surface. Our goal is to identify the novel concepts for systems, to help NASA with the development and monitoring of their roadmaps for near-term technology development. We evaluate what are the different, both internal to NASA and external in the community, technology options in order to enable these key near-term surface activities. It's important that, as I said, we maintain awareness and we amplify to the community what are the NASA investments in different areas, as well as keeping you all informed of the solicitations. And this can also involve supporting the government with NASA meetings and reviews, as well as industry meetings, and eventually, when we're allowed to travel again, site visits. Next slide, please. So the sort of system integration task for industry and academia, part of our role is to help NASA by evaluating industry developed technology options, which are of sufficient TRL to help with near-term activities. Helping to incorporate industry technologies into the LSII capability roadmaps. Again, helping formulate public-private partnership teams to help to allow those teams to propose and hopefully be successful with the different STMD solicitations. And basically, and similarly with universities, assessing what university capabilities out there and coming up with recommendations for how those university capabilities could be incorporated into the roadmaps, as well as helping the universities themselves as part of LSIC to understand what they can try and achieve within LSII to help space tech. Next slide. So my last slide wants to just give one example of as the systems integration task begins to ramp up, one ongoing and very recent activity is Jim mentioned the very exciting Prime 1, which is it's 2 instruments. It's the Trident drill and it's an M-Solar mass spec, which is scheduled to fly to the moon late next year on an intuitive machines CLPS delivery. So part of our systems integration role has been to work with our NASA colleagues as well as intuitive machines to be part of the landing selection teams. So it's using in this case, the lunar science and lunar surface expertise to look at the constraints for the different payloads on this lander to help think about when is the right time to land and the best place to land to allow all the payloads that are flying to be successful. Next slide, please. Oh, come back one. So please. So just for the, Dr. Karen Stockstill-Cahill will be giving the second part of this talk. One of the fourth tasks that we're doing for NASA is the lunar simulants, and that's interesting to many of you, and Karen will like to give you an overview of where we are with that.
Thank you, Ben. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so as Ben said, my name is Karen Stockstill-Cahill, and I am the lead, the Lunar Simulants lead here for LSII here at APL. I'm taking over the reins from Brett Denevi, who's been leading us for the last year. She did a great job, so thanks to Brett. I've been involved with the efforts since the very beginning, and I'm really looking forward to leading the efforts into the future. So if we could have my, this is the slide. So as we endeavor to develop technologies that we will use on the moon, we need to conduct testing under relevant conditions that include low pressures and perhaps variable temperatures and lighting conditions that are shown in this image. But we also need to consider how lunar regolith will interact and affect these technologies. And so the lunar simulants task is basically designed to help with maturing technologies with respect to lunar regolith. So next slide. So our first role for our simulants group is to assess lunar simulants. So technology testing will not have one regolith simulant that fits all. Each experiment will require different regolith properties. So we need to provide consistent assessment of lunar simulants that cover a broad range of properties, from geochemical to geomechanical to geotechnical. That will allow users to select the best regolith for their tests. And we are doing this by having a standardized set of measurements that are applied to each of the simulants. Next slide. Our second role is to provide guidance on lunar simulants to the NASA and the community. And we'll do this first by providing the annual lunar simulant assessment document that summarizes the results of our measurements. And that's shown here. I have a little arrow going over to it. It's available on our website, which the website address is listed at the top there. If you go to the main page, you can click on the resources tab, and lunar simulants is the top option under there. So in addition to that, we will have these results summarized in a lunar simulants portal, which is coming soon. So keep checking back at the website. That will also link to results from work done in parallel with the NASA Lunar Simulants Working Group. So, and then my final slide, I believe. So our final role is to determine the lunar simulant needs of NASA and the greater community. So we are meeting bi-weekly with the NASA Lunar Simulants Working Group to carefully monitor their work and simulant needs. And we've also set up a survey on our public LSIC website, which I have a little arrow going to that. And if you click on that Lunar Simulants link, it'll take you to the survey. And I encourage any groups that plan to use lunar simulants to go and fill out that survey. It'll let us know what types of regolith simulants you're looking for, how much you'll need, and the timing of those needs. And that will help us to work together on sending new technologies and humans to the lunar surface. So I thank you for your attention, and feel free to contact me with any questions. I can take questions now, or you can email me. My email address is at the bottom of the slide there. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to move forward and introduce our next speaker, and then we'll take questions for the three of you.